Good morning. Well, round two. This is a new webinar series for Hydron Module Geothermal Systems, and this is a all-in-one geothermal system. So, Brian, what makes this very interesting is it's really been created by dealers and distributors across the country, working with our engineering department. And who would have thought that we would now have an all-in-one geothermal system? So we're excited, and Brian, you've been here with us at Enertech for 16 years in many facets of the company, and now heading up our commercial sales department. But Brian, you were also instrumental in helping bring this product to market. So let's share with the listeners today why this is so exciting, and this new product launch is hitting the market today. So let's go.
All right, thanks, Tim. I appreciate that. First of all, I just want to cover a few facts about geothermal heating and cooling. The average U.S. family spends about $2,000 a year on their home utilities. And as we know, this is the second largest expense for that homeowner, with taxes being the first. So if we want to make a big impact in saving money as a homeowner, the second largest expense is that utility. So going to geothermal, we can make a huge impact in saving some money on our utility costs. And we know that natural gas is used to heat approximately 48% of the homes across the country, with electricity being used to heat about 38% of the homes. And geothermal heat pumps are an electric-driven device, so obviously that would fall under that category. And smaller homes are actually becoming more of a demand in the United States. The average size of the U.S. household is shrinking, which is very interesting. But that also feeds into the geothermal systems. The smaller the home, the smaller the system, the more cost-effective that it can be. So is there a better choice than natural gas? Absolutely. Geothermal heating and cooling saves homeowners and building owners money, as well as a lot of other benefits that it offers the consumer. The EPA says that it's the most efficient and environmentally friendly heating and cooling system available. And it's 300 to 500% more efficient than conventional furnaces. A lot of people don't really understand how that can be. How can we get a more than 100% efficiency? Well, because we're not creating heat and we're just transferring heat from the earth, we can achieve higher than 100%. When you burn a fossil fuel, you can never get to 100%, but you always have something left over that goes up the chimney or out the flue. With a geothermal heat pump system, because it's electrically driven, we take that electricity and we multiply that, because we're moving that energy from the earth inside the home. So for every kilowatt that you use to drive the heat pump, you're getting 4 or 5 units free from the earth into the home. So that's how we can achieve those high efficiencies. And the nice thing about this is there's no cost fluctuations due to gas and oil prices. It's a lot less volatile. Electric prices across the country are much more stable and have shown that over time. 30 to 60% savings on heating and 25 to 50% savings on cooling is what a geothermal heat pump offers over a conventional system, which is pretty tremendous when we just said about $2,000 a year annually in heating, cooling, and hot water costs. So if we can save up to 60% and up to 50% in cooling, that's a tremendous savings for the homeowner when they switch to geothermal heating and cooling. And if you look at life cycle costs, that's really where the savings comes in, because the systems last longer. Not only that, the ground loop is a one-time investment. You put that into the earth, and that's going to be there for the life of the building. So basically, you're pre-purchasing your energy up front by installing that ground loop, and it's going to be there year after year and last, like I said, as long as the building will be there. And the other nice thing is it's a very quiet operation. With this new all-in-one geothermal heat pump, as some of our literature states, it's ridiculously quiet. And what you'll find with this product is it's just absolutely whisper quiet and very small mechanical space. We'll show you that as we go forward here. Okay, so this is the heat pump, the all-new all-in-one geothermal system. So this is the first variable speed water-to-water heat pump on the market, and it is basically a Swiss Army knife of heating and cooling. One compact unit really does it all. So we can offer the building owner, the homeowner, a radiant in-floor heating system, which is the most comfortable heating system there is, and we could also do radiant cooling if that's something that they wish to do. We also do 100% of the hot water supply all year round, replacing a standard domestic water heater. There isn't another geothermal heat pump on the market that can offer 100% geothermal heating and cooling hot water all year round, basically on demand. So it's a fantastic water heating device and efficiencies that are far exceed any other conventional water heating system. Of course, we've got forced air heating and cooling, whether that be ducted or a ductless system, by transferring energy from a water system through a coil and then into a ducted forced air or a ductless cassette type system. We can also offer pool heating, snow melting. This unit, again, is very flexible. We can do a lot of different things because we can heat water all the way up to 135 degrees and chill water. And so we can use that water, that conditioned water, to do multiple things within the home or the building. And we can do that actually simultaneously. So pretty exciting. The other nice thing about this product that we mentioned, it's very compact. If you look at this diagram here, because we can offer now this variable speed product without a buffer tank, we've created a lot less space in the mechanical room, which creates more living space for the home. And we all know how, what a premium living space is. If you're building a new home, you're paying $150, $200 per square foot for living space. So the fact that we can take less mechanical space to get the same job done, or even do more with this product, including the hot water. And as you see there, it's a roughly 32 square foot of mechanical space or less, depending on what you're doing with the system. So very compact, very small. And again, how does this system help you? Well, we found with our test sites that we've done with this product has become about 30% more efficient than a standard geothermal system. So that's making it upwards of 330 to 530% more efficient than a conventional system. And the recorded COP of this product in the real world applications is a 6+ COP. Because it monitors the outdoor temperature and changes the water temperature within the structure and changes speed based on conditions that are required to heat the structure, we can achieve those COPs, and that happens daily. And again, we can do the 100% domestic hot water, radiant floor heating, and also a ducted system. So here we have the diagram shows a forced air heating and cooling system from the variable speed water to water, and we can do multiple zones, which is a really nice feature, so we can control comfort in each of the living zones versus having the whole house one temperature. And so we can really dial in the comfort level to where you're living within the space. So how does the system help you? Again, there is much more. The other nice thing about this product, because of the variable speed technology and because it's geothermal electrically driven, we can achieve net zero and the capabilities to go off the grid. Because it has soft start technology, we can actually start this unit without a large inrush current, and that allows it to be able to use it with solar panels or any other type of renewable electric generation device. And you can also downsize your solar panel system because it takes a lot less energy than a traditional system or even a traditional or more traditional geothermal system. And like I mentioned, the built-in soft start allows it to start quietly and softly and doesn't take that large electric inrush current to get it started. So we can utilize this a lot better with some of the other renewable technologies to go net zero. And by the way, net zero can only happen with electric-driven devices. There is no way to get to net zero with a fossil fuel type system because you cannot replace that fossil fuel once it's burned. So because we can generate electricity with solar panels, with the wind turbine, we can then use that energy to drive the geothermal system and get to net zero. And that's been happening quite a bit actually around the country. And again, we mentioned this is a variable speed compressor, variable speed pumps to drive the fluid through the floor and through the coils and through the loop field in the ground. And also the fan motor, if you have a ducted system, would also be variable speed. So every component within the system would be a variable speed, high efficiency a product from Intertek and Hydron module. So we're going to cover a couple of test sites that we've had these systems working in for quite some time. The first test site was in Brighton, Utah. So we're up at elevation around 9,000 feet. The home is roughly about 4,000 square feet. The mechanical space is actually under the switchback staircase, and it's less than 32 square feet. Now, this home previously had a geothermal system installed, but it had a 5-ton single-speed water-to-water fixed capacity. It had another 2-ton geothermal water-to-water for domestic hot water. It had 2 water tanks for the domestic side, and it also had another tank for a buffer tank to heat the floor off of the 5-ton. Those were all removed, and what was replaced was one compact all-in-one Hydron module geothermal heat pump and one domestic water heater that is utilized from the geothermal system. So we've got rid of 2 heat pumps and 3 tanks down to 1 heat pump and 1 tank. And not only that, we saved quite a bit of energy by going that direction, and the comfort level has increased. So this home has radiant floor heating throughout, also heating 100% of the domestic hot water. It's a vertical loop, and there are 6 zones within this home of the radiant floor system. There is no forced air here because of the elevation. There was no cooling needed. So this is a heating only application. It's also heating the garage, and we maintain 62, 65 degrees all year, even when nobody is there. And the utility costs actually dropped by about 30% over the previous geothermal system. So it was pretty substantial savings by going to a variable speed, and we're actually keeping the home warmer and doing 100% of the hot water and a lot better hot water generation. The second test site is in Mountain, Minnesota. This home's a little bit smaller. We've got about 3,000 square feet. Again, the mechanical space is very, very small. It's actually under the front porch, so less than 32 square feet. Again, this home was a previously installed geothermal system, so it had a 5-ton single-speed fixed capacity heat pump, and then it also had a boiler with a indirect water heating system, so we were using gas to do the domestic hot water. We replaced that system with a 5-ton variable speed all-in-one geothermal system, as well as the indirect tank off of that geothermal system. So now, instead of using gas for hot water, we're using geothermal heating and cooling and hot water. Okay, and this is a fully radiant heated home. We've also got forced air for the shoulder seasons for heating, and then also forced air cooling throughout the home. We've got a vertical loop here in the front yard of this home. We have 7 radiant zones and 2 forced air zones. And again, what we found with this test site is we've reduced the energy use by going to this all-in-one variable speed geothermal system, and we've increased the comfort level. And again, we've also are now doing the domestic hot water with geothermal versus a fossil fuel. So it's 100% geothermal now within the home. And all of these homes have actually been running for over a year at these test sites. And the third one we're going to talk about here is the test site in Staunton, Illinois. This home is 3,500 square feet. Now, this was a brand new construction, new home, so there was no existing system that was replaced like the other 2 that we just showed you. And the system type that they installed here is a radiant heating in the floor throughout the entire home, forced air heating and cooling, and then they do have a gas backup system. We've got a horizontal boring loop field, so instead of drilling vertically, they drilled horizontally down about 20 feet. And we have 7 heating zones, 3 cooling zones, and we are also doing 100% of the hot water as well with the all-in-one geothermal system. And again, the comfort level from the homeowner here has been tremendous. He's been raving about how comfortable the home is because the system ramps up and down the speed based on the outdoor conditions and what the home requires. You don't have those large temperature swings, and it's just fantastic. Of course, with the radiant floor heating is the most comfortable system there is to begin with. So then when you add the geothermal and the variable speed, it just enhances all of that. And then, of course, it really saves energy and saves money. So that's the end of the webinar here as far as what we're going to cover. Let's go and see if we have any questions.
Okay, thanks, Brian. Great job explaining this all-in-one new system that we're just releasing. So very, very exciting. And let's answer a few questions here, Brian, that have come in. So here's one. Is this capable of replacing an existing boiler for a hot water heating system?
Yeah, great question, Tim. Yeah, actually it is. With this new technology, not only because it's variable speed, but because of the technology that we're using with this all-in-one system, we can achieve higher water temperatures. So now those homes that have either baseboard heat or radiator heat, in the past, we couldn't utilize a geothermal system to heat those homes because our water temperatures couldn't get hot enough to utilize that technology. And with this particular product, now that we can achieve 135 to 140 degrees, we can heat those homes with a geothermal system with this new all-in-one high temperature variable speed geothermal system. It's a great question.
Yeah, great answer, Brian. Thank you. And you just mentioned the word high temperature. It's interesting. Water-to-water units throughout the geothermal time have typically struggled to get beyond the 110 and beyond. Here's a question that kind of touches on that. What is the maximum temperature for the domestic hot water, and is it capable of providing all the hot water needs?
Yeah, that's another great question. This system has been designed to be able to achieve reliably and throughout the heating system up to 140 degrees. Most hot water systems are usually set around 120 to 125 degrees, so we can do that all year round, 100% with this new all-in-one geothermal system. And it does come with a special indirect tank that is matched to the heat pump, and it will provide basically continuous flow for domestic hot water, and again, up to 135 degrees. So absolutely we can do that. And we're doing that now at about a COP of somewhere in the 2.5 to 3.5 COP range, whereas a conventional water heater isn't even 100% efficient. So it's a fantastic device for heating hot water, which is the first in the industry to be able to do that.
And Brian, you mentioned that with the innovation of this new system, I think it still has so many people saying all in one. So let's touch on this other question that came in. Can I have a hybrid radiant system with forced air on one WV unit? So Brian, first of all, can you explain hybrid?
Yeah, hybrid system, well, obviously that word can be used in a lot of ways, but when it comes to heating systems, a hybrid radiant floor and forced air is where a lot of homes will have radiant floor maybe in the lower level or in the basement where they had to pour concrete, and then up in the upper levels where there's wood floors, et cetera, they'll have a forced air system instead of radiant floor. So you've got kind of a hybrid radiant and forced air system. And then of course for cooling, you generally will have forced air duct system for cooling. So what this WV all-in-one system can offer is it can do all of that, and it can do all of that very easily without a lot of extra components. In the past, you had to have buffer tanks, and you had to have a lot of other pumps and piping, et cetera. We've eliminated all those extra costs. We've eliminated all those extra components. So now it's a lot more compact, again, back to the square foot of the mechanical space. But this unit can basically turn on and off to satisfy a radiant zone and a forced air zone and air handler, and it can move and do those either simultaneously or can switch back and forth very quickly because we don't have those buffer tanks and a lot of those other components in the system. So absolutely a hybrid is very common, and this is the best machine now on the market to be able to do that. And the fact that it has all the controls built in, it will take those signals that come in from the zones, and it'll determine what it needs to do and how it needs to do it the most efficiently, and it will provide the right temperature water to those zones to provide maximum comfort and efficiency for the homeowner.
Brian, we have a few questions here, and I'm going to combine two of them together. We got a question on price, and then I'll just throw another one in there on timeline of release.
Yeah, timeline, that's a great question. The timeline is today. Today is the official launch of the new all-in-one WV water-to-water. If you go to hydronmodule.com, all of the information will now be there as far as the literature, the technical specifications and documentation. And so today is the day for the release. We have actually been taking some orders, some pre-orders, but today is the official launch of the product. And so if you call into Intertech at Inside Sales or 618-664-9010, and you can certainly get more information on the product as well. Then as far as the price of the product, that varies. It depends on where you're at in the country, who the dealer is, et cetera, what you're all doing with the product, whether or not you're doing the hot water option. So that would be specific to your, application. So you'd have to get a hold of either a dealer or you can get a hold of Intertech, and then we can put you in touch with the right people to make sure we get that taken care of for you. But very good questions.
Can you go back to the slides of the pictures of the unit? We had some folks come on late, and they were asking for some pictures of the unit itself.
Sure, there we go. Again, very compact. So I believe the footprint is about 25 inches by 25 inches, and we're about 3 foot tall. So again, very compact. That's up to 5 tons. So it varies in capacity from about 2 ton up to 5 ton. And again, it varies the water temperature because it has an outdoor temperature sensor. And so it reads that outdoor temperature, then it calculates and knows what the home needs for the temperature of water to the floor and to the heating device or the distribution system. And it will calculate that real time, and it calculates that every second. And so it will ramp the compressor or speed it up and down, both in capacity and temperature, to provide the most comfortable system there is, as well as the most efficient. And then when you get a domestic hot water call, it will switch over with a valve in the unit and provide up to 135-degree water to that tank. And it does that in just a few minutes. It can heat a 50-gallon tank. So it's really got a lot of capacity. And notice there's a display on the front of the unit that is a communicating system. It gives you everything in plain English. And it's got a lot of great outputs that you can see how the system is running. And again, a very compact product.
Hey, Brian, we had the question come in from Kyle as well on price comparison. Can you just touch on that? Because many of our customers or even interested prospects are used to the water-to-water technology. Now we're talking about this.
Sure. That's another great question. Obviously with technology, the cost does go up. So if you look at the product itself, just the heat pump, of course, you're going to have a premium cost here because comparative to a standard water-to-water, because of the controls, because of the technology. But the great thing about this product is we've actually reduced the installation cost of the product because we've eliminated components with this technology. So we've gotten rid of the buffer tank. We've gotten rid of a lot more piping. And with that, we've gotten rid of, obviously, installation labor and costs. So when you look at everything that this unit can do, and then the elimination of all those components because of the variable speed compressor, because of how it gets installed, it's actually more competitive than a traditional water-to-water system that you would find out on the marketplace. But that's a great question.
Brian, here's another question. I think this is an easy question, hard answer. Is this system more efficient than a split system with a line set to a Freon coil?
Well, that's a good question. Generally, if you look at the specifications of a forced air versus a water-to-water, a forced air system would be more efficient, and that's primarily due to the temperatures that it sees. So because the home on the forced air is always running about a 70-degree return air, that system sees that, and so your efficiencies are going to be a little better, whereas a radiant system, you're going to be above that because we're providing maybe 80, 90, 100-degree water to the floor. So it's running a little bit hotter, which means that the efficiency is down. But with the variable speed technology, because we're ramping the compressor up and down to match the load, and most of the year you're going to be running at very low speeds, and most of the year, it's not 20 below zero or even 0 degrees outside, so the water temperatures will be much less. So now this system actually is going to be very comparable to a forced air system when it comes to a COP, or even better. And as we mentioned, you can see COPs of upwards of 6 with this product because of the speed of the compressor slowing down and also the water temperature not running like a traditional water-to-water at 110 degrees, but maybe at 75 or 80 degrees. So now we've increased the efficiency tremendously on the system. So that's a great question.
Very good. Brian, thank you. What we'll do is wrap up here, and if you have any questions, please call 618-664-9010, and Inside Sales will be more than happy to help you. thank you again for taking time to join this webinar this morning, and we will post it up on the Hydron Module YouTube page. Thank you for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon.